Good morning, all of you. So last session we talked about contraception, a very important topic, and now we go into a very beautiful logic. Testtube babies, how are they born? A concept called as infertility. Many couples do not want to have a child. They will go in for contraceptive methods. But suppose the other way around, a couple is trying to have a child and the lady is not conceiving, she is not becoming pregnant, then you try to find out what are the reasons for this. Why is the lady not becoming pregnant? You could have a host of reasons: physical, congenital diseases, drugs, immunological, or even psychological. सबसे पहले physical disorders. If a lady is having a divaricate uterus, it's a genetic disorder in which the uterus is of two halves. तो uterus के अंदर एक छोटा split होता है, and the uterus is of two halves. So half uterus, a divaricate uterus is there, and she cannot possibly become pregnant. Or another physical problem is in a male there is impotency, erectile dysfunction, in which his penis is not able to undergo an erection. तो जब erection नहीं होता है, it is called as impotency or ED, erectile dysfunction, and that is the reason a physical problem is there, and if penis is not erected, it cannot be inserted in the vagina, copulation cannot take place. So it could be just physical reason or congenital reason. Congenital means since birth. So since birth, a male is say having cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism, he is having undescended testes. Then in case of congenital cryptorchidism, if testes are not descended, spermatogenesis will not take place and infertility हो जाती है. Or diseases like tuberculosis. अगर TB होता है, TB not only affects lungs, but the ovary gets infected, the fallopian tube gets affected, the uterus gets infected, and pregnancy cannot take place. Ovulation itself will not take place in TB. Or diseases like, if you've heard of it, PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease, also called polycystic ovarian syndrome, in which ovaries के अंदर बड़े-बड़े pus-filled areas आ जाते हैं, is due to a hormonal imbalance, and if there are pus-filled cysts inside the ovary, then ovulation will not take place, and these are the diseases which are responsible for infertility. Or you may have drugs. If a person is smoking or having alcohol, or is having cocaine or LSD or heroin intake, then sir, cigarette smoking and alcohol reduce spermatogenesis. Sperm count becomes less with the intake of alcohol or smoking of cigarettes, उससे problem हो सकता है. Or immunological, many times when sperms are produced in the testes, a person's own WBCs starts killing his own sperm. So sir, he's producing sperm, but उसी के WBC उसी के sperms को मार देते हैं, which is called as an autoimmune disorder. So that is an autoimmune disorder, which is an immunological problem. Or psychological, if a person is having depression, in depressed people, erection of the penis will not take place, a person will have impotency, and that is the reason copulation is not possible, fertilization, ejaculation are not possible. So that is psychological disorders like depression. चाहे कोई भी reason हो, the couple is not able to have a child, and this couple is desperate for a baby, then they will go to a gynecologist who will do a thorough checking of the female system, a male andrologist will check the male's reproductive system and they decide कि there is this particular problem, तो couple को advise किया जाता है, we will advise you going for a Testtube Baby. A Testtube Baby, which is an assisted reproductive technology, and assisted reproductive technology ART, and a Testtube Baby is also called IVF, in vitro fertilization. In vitro, if fertilization takes place inside the body, that is called in vivo fertilization, VIVO. तो fertilization अगर fallopian tube में होता है, it is called in vivo fertilization. If it is not happening naturally in the fallopian tube, we fertilize the egg and the sperm in a test tube which is outside the body, and that is called as in vitro fertilization, IVF, which is also called as a test tube baby. Louis Brown नाम का first child was produced by a test tube baby concept. In India, Dr. Hinduja worked on a lady and a girl child was born called Durga, and Durga was India's first test tube baby, and now so we have every part of Bombay, India, everywhere, lots and lots of infertility clinic or test tube baby clinic where a test tube baby is born. So, how will you have a test tube baby conceived? सबसे पहले we will ask this lady, madam, when did you have your periods? She says on the 1st of this month. So, 1st of the month she had a period. She will be told to come on the 12th of that month, just 2 days before ovulation. And she is given injections of FSH and LH. FSH, LH नाम के injections दिए जाते हैं, and not given in your books, but you may remember a medicine called as clomiphene citrate is given. Clomiphene citrate नाम का एक chemical दिया जाता है, and either clomiphene citrate or give FSH LH injection. What will FSH LH do? FSH will stimulate many primordial follicles to become enlarged into secondary follicles. LH is given in a small dose which will help in formation of a Graafian follicle, and multiple Graafian follicles are formed in the ovary just about to ovulate. Of course, ovulation takes place on what day? On the 14th day. So, sir, you have given FSH-LH, and just before ovulation on the 14th day, on around the 13th day, we take a lady sitting down, sleeping down, and do a sonography of her ovary. तो ovaries का sonography किया जाता है, and on the television computer screen we find that both ovaries have in them enlarged follicles. Those are secondary follicles or Graafian follicles which we see on the computer screen. Now, under sonographic guidance, we put in a needle. A needle is put through the abdomen, and sir, under sonographic guidance, we see the needle enters the ovary, goes into a Graafian follicle, और जैसे ही needle Graafian follicle में जाती है, liquor folliculi will start coming out of the needle. उसके पीछे एक syringe डाल दिया जाता है, and we push the piston, and the entire liquor folliculi is sucked with the help of the needle into the syringe. तो needle के syringe में पूरा Graafian follicle suck किया जाता है. The needle is removed, and this is the Graafian follicle content, liquor folliculi. What will it have in it when we have sucked the content, liquer folliculi plus the oocyte? surrounded by zona pellucida and corona radiata is now removed, and sir, that is taken in a syringe and put into a test tube. तो टेस्ट ट्यूब के अंदर बहुत सारे ऐसे oocytes को सक कर करके टेस्ट ट्यूब में डाला जाता है. So we have collected the ovum into the test tube. So ovum is not in the fallopian tube, ovum is in the test tube. These test tubes are kept in a stand. तो उसको स्टैंड में डाल दिया जाता है. We do sonography, find another graphene follicle, put a needle, suck out the egg, put it into another test tube. तो ऐसे मल्टीपल ग्राफियन फॉलिकल्स में से बहुत सारे एग्स को निकाल के उसको टेस्ट ट्यूब में डाला जाता है. Now the husband is told to go and masturbate. So he goes in a separate room, he masturbates, he gets an erected penis and he masturbates. His semen is collected in a test tube. And this test tube is now brought into the lab, and we will put the semen and sperm under a microscope and find out about the motility of the sperm. We find that the sperms are motile, they are frankly moving. We pick up, say, a drop of that semen and put it into the test tube in which we had collected the egg. तो एग जिस टेस्ट ट्यूब में डाला था उसी में एक स्पर्म का ड्रॉप, सीमेन का ड्रॉप डाला जाता है, and in all the test tubes we put in a few drops of semen and wait for 5 hours. I hope you remember, 5 hours the sperms will undergo capacitation. For 5 hours the acrosome will produce hyaluronidase, which will 5 hours later dissolve the corona radiata, and then fertilization takes place and the zygote is formed. Where is zygote formed, sir? Not in the fallopian tube but in the test tube. Hence this baby is called as a test tube baby. So fertilization takes place in the test tube and zygote now is allowed to wait for 2 days. I hope you remember, within 3 days zygote forms a morula. So if zygote is allowed to multiply for 2 days, then within the test tube zygote forms an 8-cell stage. And this zygote or 8-cell stage is taken with the help of a endoscope. एक एंडोस्कोप के अंदर एक कैमरा होता है, which is a camera connected to a TV screen. A source of light is there, so light for illumination, and एक clamp होता है, clamp, and this clamp is connected outside. So we have camera with wire, we have light with wire, and we have a clamp with a wire, and all these three are covered by a common wire which is now called endoscope. So now we see it on the television screen, camera on a light on a, and we find that there is a zygote or a 8-cell stage. We open the clamp from outside and clamp को खोल के zygote or 8-cell stages now picked up from the test tube, and this test tube में से this entire endoscope is removed. We open the vagina and the cervix. This endoscope is put inside. You are seeing it on the TV screen continuously. The endoscope is allowed to pass into the fallopian tube, और जैसे ही endoscope fallopian tube में आ जाता है, बाहर से clamp को खोल दिया जाता है. We open the clamp opens in the fallopian tube, and the zygote or the 8-cell stage is released in the fallopian tube, and the remaining endoscope will come out. This zygote or 8-cell stage is now in the fallopian tube, so 8 blastomeres or zygote is there, which is called ZIP. A zygote intrafallopian transfer has been done. So zygote up to 8 blastomere stage is in the fallopian tube called as a ZIP. A a zygote intrafallopian transfer and the endoscope is removed. Now with the help of cilia, this zygote will keep on moving in the or 8 cell stage hoga or zygote hoga. At the end of the fallopian tube it will form a morula. It will drop in the uterus, take over there, implantation will take place, and you confirm it by doing an HCG urine test, and you do sonography, and you find out that yes, fertilization has actually taken place. तो zygote को fallopian tube में डाला जाता है, which is called as a ZIF, a zygote intrafallopian transfer. Nowadays ZIF नहीं किया जाता है, हम लोग टेस्ट ट्यूब के अंदर zygote को बनाते हैं and we wait for 3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 days, the zygote will become a morula and will start undergoing further cell division. So 32 cells or more, 16, 32 cells or more, and that is now put into the uterus. And uterus के अंदर वो डाल दिया जाता है, which is called as intrauterine transfer. तो zygote को fallopian tube में डाला जाता है, which is called as a zygote intrafallopian transfer. Or if a morula is put in the uterus directly, it is called as an intrauterine transfer, and immediately morula will form blastula, undergo implantation and do sonography and confirm that she has become pregnant. So sir, this is the way a test tube baby is born. I'm not giving you books, but sir, nowadays हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We have taken many test tubes. So the common practices pick up about 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 morulas and put all of them in the uterus and do a sonography. You find कि 4 morula में से 3 morula या 2 morula का implantation हुआ है, but 2 morulas did not implant. So there is a not a definitive way you can have all 4 morulas implanted. So success rate is around 50 to 75%. तो इसीलिए हम लोग एक zygote या एक morula नहीं डालते हैं, 3 या 4 डाल देते हैं. तो 3 या 4 में से around 2 of them will get implanted, 2 may implant or may not implant. So of the 4, maybe 2 implant, other 2 do not implant properly, and you do a sonography and you find that wow, there are 2 embryos developing. You now ask the couple, do you want to have 2 children or you want to have 1 child? In many cases, the couple decide that after such a long time we are having children, so might as well have 2 children, and sir, both babies are allowed to develop and both babies will be born, and of course this way non-identical twins or dizygotic fraternal twins are born. तो आजकल बहुत सारे बच्चे हम लोग देखते हैं, एक ही स्कूल में 2-2 बेबीज है. अगर वो आइडेंटिकल थे, then you remember they have formed from the same 2 blastomeres. If you remember, zygote became 2 blastomeres separated और उसमें से आइडेंटिकल ट्विन्स बने थे, जैसे हमने पहले किया था. बट बहुत सारे नॉन आइडेंटिकल ट्विन्स आजकल मिल रहे हैं, and many of them are because of test tube babies. So test tube babies में chances are very high that we have put 4 zygotes or more or 4 morulas in the uterus or more and maybe 2 implant and we get twin pregnancies in a test tube baby. Nice little logic over here. And then we have transfer of an ovum from a donor into a fallopian tube. Many times if a lady is having PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease, then sir, she is not able to ovulate, but her fallopian tube is normal, her uterus is normal, and she desires to become a mother and she wants to enjoy having a child in her uterus. तो क्या किया जाता है? Her sister or somebody of her relative, you give her clomiphene citrate or FSH-LH and you do sonography and collect the egg from the graphene follicle under sonography, take this egg and with the help of an endoscope, the egg is left into this lady's fallopian tube. So a donor egg डाल दिया जाता है and this donor egg is left in the fallopian tube and the fallopian tube में से endoscope बाहर निकाला जाता है. This donor egg now starts moving with the help of cilia. The couple has a sexual intercourse and her husband's sperm enters this egg and form a zygote and she becomes pregnant. So sir, इसे gift कहते हैं. Gift, which is a gamete intrafallopian transfer where a donor egg into another female is done. So from a donor egg into this female is now conceived with the help of a donor egg. This is called as a gift. So you have indeed gifted her an egg. You have gifted her an egg and that is called as the gamete intrafallopian transfer. तो इस तरह से gamete intrafallopian transfer किया जाता है. Very nice logic now. So many times you find that a lady is not becoming pregnant due to the husband's sperm count. Sir, if he is having a low sperm count, then that is the reason she is not becoming pregnant. But you find that he is having 300 million sperms. 300 million sperms says a normal sperm count is there in the ejaculation, then why is she not becoming pregnant? Fine, nahi ho rahi hai. You put the sperms into a test tube and you find that test tube में भी zygote नहीं बन रहा है. Test tube में भी zygote नहीं बन रहा है, यानी test tube baby भी नहीं बन रही है. सर ये क्यों हो रहा है? Test tube में तो fertilization होना चाहिए. But sir, many times the problem is the sperm is fine, its motility is fine, but the acrosome is not synthesizing a sufficient amount of hyaluronidase. So, if hyaluronidase नहीं बन रहा है, then sir, egg is here and sperm cannot fertilize it because hyaluronidase जब तक नहीं होगा secrete, तब तक penetration is not possible. So penetration won't take place in the fallopian tube. Penetration will also not take place in the test tube. तो penetration fallopian tube में नहीं, test tube में भी नहीं हो रहा है. तो सर ऐसे केसेस में आप क्या करोगे? Then you go in for something called as ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. An intracytoplasmic sperm injection is done in which the egg is collected into a test tube and test tube में sonography करके egg को needle से निकाल के put in a test tube. We tell the husband to masturbate and from his semen a single sperm is taken and put into a syringe with some distilled water and एक needle को डाला जाता है and sir this is egg, this is zona pellucida around it and these are corona radiata cells around it and sir we take the needle and this needle with the syringe containing a single sperm is now pushed into the egg. So this needle will now penetrate all the way through corona radiata, through zona pellucida, through the cell membrane, if you remember called vitelline membrane, and sir, यहाँ से piston push किया जाता है, and the single sperm will now enter into the egg, and this sperm will fuse with the egg to form the zygote, and artificially fertilization is done. What is this technique called as? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. तो साइटोप्लाज्म के अंदर एक स्पर्म लोड किया जाता है which is an intracytoplasmic sperm injection is carried out. Nice logic. And third, many times you find that a husband has got a low sperm count, or many times you find that the sperm count is 300 million से less. If the sperm count is 300 million, it is fine. But if the sperm count is less and becomes 60 million, so 60 million sperms per ejaculation is still fine. But if the sperm count goes less than 60 million per ejaculation, then you remember majority sperms are destroyed in the vagina by acidity, phagocytosis, many stick to the endometrium, many enter wrong fallopian tube. So sir, a few hundred sperms पहुंचने के लिए few hundred sperms to surround the egg, you need a minimum of 60 million sperms. If the sperm count becomes less than 60 million, fertilization will not take place. And rather than going in for an expensive process like a test tube baby, what do? We tell the husband to masturbate. His semen is collected in a test tube. It is stored. Next day he again masturbates. Again some semen is collected in the test tube. He again masturbates and more semen is collected in the test tube. So if we have 3 or 4 masturbations ka semen, you will have say 60 million, 60 million, 60 million, a total of 180 million sperms are there from 3 ejaculations. All that semen is then taken in a syringe, and that syringe ko aap lete ho, we open the lady's vagina and we put the syringe into the vagina and push the piston. So ek saath all that huge amount of semen will come out containing in it 180 million sperms, and third of which a few sperms will definitely touch the egg and form a zygote, and that is the way a baby is born. इसे artificial insemination AI कहते हैं. Artificial insemination, a syringe की मदद से sperms are injected into the vagina with a higher sperm count by multiple ejaculations, which is called as an artificial insemination. Or you can go in for intrauterine insemination. यानी सर जो syringe है उसके ऊपर एक प्लास्टिक की ट्यूब डाली जाती है, and the lady is made to lie down. This plastic tube along with the syringe is now put in, and third, where will the syringe enter? The vagina. And where will that tube enter? The uterus. And then the piston is pushed, so all the semen with sperms directly enter not in the vagina but in the uterus itself. So uterus में sperms पहुंच जाएंगे means chances of sperm getting killed in the vagina because of acidity or phagocytosis of WBC, ये सारा problem निकल जाता है. Sperms have directly entered the uterus, and this is called as intrauterine insemination. And with intrauterine insemination, the chances of fertilization will tremendously increase. So a very high chance of fertilization. And in case the husband's sperm count is very less, even artificial insemination, she's not becoming pregnant, I'm sorry. Then third, you will advise this couple to go in for donor sperms. Donor sperms, you go to a sperm bank, and in the sperm bank, you can ask the people there that my wife wants to become pregnant, I need donor sperms. As a matter of fact, every healthy male after the age of 18 can go and donate his sperms in a sperm bank. तो जैसे आप ब्लड बैंक में ब्लड डोनेट कर सकते हो, आप स्पर्म बैंक में जाके आपके स्पर्म्स और सीमेन को डोनेट कर सकते हो. It is collected in a test tube and kept in a refrigerator at -196 degrees Celsius. A technique called as cryopreservation is done. And cryopreservation से somebody's sperm at -196 degrees Celsius पे store किया जाता है, and so you go to that sperm bank and ask for donor sperms. तो सर आपको डोनर स्पर्म्स मिलने जाते हैं. As a matter of fact, you can also decide what is the color of the eyes that you want your child to have, what is the height that you want, what is the IQ that you want, and you will take sperms of one person who has got all these characteristics. So you want blue eyes for the baby, you want high IQ, you want a tall child. तो ऐसे husband एक मेल के स्पर्म्स को लिए जाते हैं and that is given to the lady by artificial insemination or intrauterine insemination, and this is legally allowed and you can select the characteristics. Of course, the identity of the donor is never disclosed to the couple. Identity is a firm secret. You can never tell the identity of the donor to the couple, so the couple will never know कि किसके sperms इस lady के अंदर inseminate किए गए हैं. Nice technique called artificial insemination. And as a matter of fact, not given in your books, but sir, समझो a lady is able to ovulate and a husband is able to produce sperms. But suppose she has got tuberculosis, and because of TB, her fallopian tube has got a lot of fibrosis, or endometrium has become very hard because of TB. So TB बैक्टीरिया से endometriosis होता है, जिसमें endometrium बहुत hard हो जाता है, endometriosis कहते हैं. So उसका egg बन रहा है, but उसका uterus is not suitable for implantation. Then you call the husband and the wife. You give her FSH, or clomipene citrate, you make her have multiple follicles, collect the egg with the help of sonography, put the egg in a test tube, have the husband masturbate, collect his sperms in a test tube, make a test tube baby. Now this zygote cannot be put into this lady's fallopian tube or uterus. You request another lady कि ये वाला zygote आपके यूट्रस में अगर हम डाल दे, then can you help this couple to become parents? The lady says yes, I'm ready, and that zygote or morula is now put into another lady's uterus, and she will bear the child, and the child will be delivered out, and that child will be handed back to the biological parents. If you've heard of it, now this child has got two mothers. One who is her genetic mother, who is her biological mother, जिसका egg लिया गया था, and जिसके uterus में baby को बनाया गया था, she is now called as the surrogate mother of the child, and this technique is called as surrogacy. So surrogacy किसी और lady के uterus में एक zygote of a couple is put inside and a surrogate mother is born. If you have heard of it, many people undergo surrogacy. As a matter of fact, if you have heard of it, Amir Khan. Now, he and his wife Kiran Rao were not able to produce a child, so their egg and sperm were taken and given into another lady, and she became the mother. So she became the surrogate mother of Amir Khan's and Kiran Rao's child, and that is a surrogacy. So आजकल ये इतना सुपर हो चुका है, one way or the other a couple will be able to have a child, but God forbid if nothing works out, she is just not becoming pregnant, or if the husband is having such a poor sperm count that he is not able to have sperms produced, then the couple decide, rather than going in for all these assisted reproductive technologies, why don't we do something? Let's go and adopt the child. As a matter of fact, that is the best thing you can do. India में कितने सारे गरीब बच्चे हैं जिनके माँ बाप नहीं होते हैं, they are coming up with orphanages, and so they go to an orphanage, sign up that we want to have this child being brought up, and a legal adoption is being done. And as a matter of fact, so many highly educated and very, very intelligent people, they get married, and both the husband and wife can have their own child they decide, rather than having just genetically our own child, why don't we go to an adoption center और एक बेबी जो born हो चुकी है उसी को घर पे लाते हैं, उसको प्यार देते हैं, उसको अपना बच्चा बनाते हैं, and legalized adoption is an excellent thing, and so many poor children are getting legally adopted, and that is an excellent thing a couple can do if there is a problem of infertility. So nice logic, beautiful topic we have done here. We'll just take a break and we go into a very important topic, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, and how to prevent them. We'll just start that in a moment.